I wanted to go ahead and go over some of my trading setups. So, kind of what I'm looking for in the Forex market and what has really kind of helped me to be successful when I'm trading. Obviously, number one thing is wait for the right trades. Look for high probability setups. So that's part of being picky is you wait for the right setup. So I literally was just watching a little clip with Warren Buffett recently, and one of the tips he gave for why he's so successful is the difference between investing in baseball is in baseball there's going to be so many pitches thrown at you, and depending on the pitch, whether it's right in the sweet spot or just outside or so forth, you can strike out, right? Because you're only going to get so many swings. But with investing, you know, it doesn't matter. You literally can wait for as many pitches as you want. And what's important is you don't swing until you're comfortable with what's in front of you. And I think that's the most important thing. I think a lot of people, as I hear, they get in trouble when they're chasing a trade or trying to push a trade and make it happen, right? And they're like, oh, it's called FOMO, fear of missing out. You're chasing after it versus waiting for it to come to you, right where you want it. So one of the educators that I listen to with IML, what I have access to as far as in my group is a guy by the name of Steve Greger, and he says he sets traps. That's his big saying is he sets traps and he waits for price to come to his trap. Another way of saying that is he'll have alerts set up, and when price comes to certain areas, it alerts him and he knows. And so instead of chasing after it, you have to let price come to you. And if you're patient, it's going to work out. They don't all have to come to you. You literally only need a handful of trades. I can make more than enough money within 1, 2, 3 trades in an entire week if I'm taking the right trades. Otherwise you take the wrong trade and you're just chasing your tail because it doesn't work out. So, anyways, this is my what I put together on Euro USD, and what you're able to see here is I'm able to on this. There's 2 trend lines going. If I was able to zoom out, you would see they go back in time as well. But what you'll see here with the 1, 2, and 3, and the 3 isn't a perfect example. I think I went over this before, but basically, 1 and 2 are almost perfect. The indicators are where they need to be. It's right on the trend line, and then it just drops, and you can get into a trade like this without all this drawdown that everybody is constantly concerned about. A lot of people think that they need to tolerate a large amount of drawdown when they're trading, which basically means you get into a trade and it goes negative for a long time before it finally turns positive. If it ever turns positive, you're hoping and waiting instead of being confident in the trade. That's just getting in the wrong trades. So let's see if I can grab some of my other setups here when I have these multiple screens at all these. Okay, here we go. So this is one that I just did the other day. Yep, it came over. Okay, and I was pretty excited about because I literally had just, this is another benefit again to trading with me is you get access to these educators. And I was just watching an educator the other day, basically a very successful trader, and he says it's all about patterns. Everything is about patterns. Nothing happens with price without a pattern taking place. And so if you look at this is on Euro, Great British Pound. You will see what looks kind of like a flag, okay? And then you'll see the flagpole right here. I was able to go ahead and measure what you can expect on these types of patterns. And just go ahead and Google bullish flag, and you'll see. But what you can see is when it breaks out on the other end, you're going to get at least that distance on the other side. And you can see it did give me that distance plus quite a bit extra, actually, before it went ahead and broke down. So this was just the other day, very successful trade, definitely happy with that. Here I want to show you a few others. So let's see if I can keep these in order. Okay, this is so this is my, I don't know what I'm looking for, write-up or whatever on the Great British Pound USD. So again, you can see here that, overall prices in a trend line. Now these are on high time frames. This is the 240-minute or 4-hour time frame. So every one of these candles represents 4 hours. So, while it may be easy to look at this and go, oh, okay, I see that. You actually have to, it does take quite a bit of patience, and when you get impatient and come in at the wrong candle, that's when you're going to get drawdown. That's when, mistakes and problems are going to take place. As well, basically everybody's working with me. I'm really advising against, even going with the trades that, look very good, that are on the lower end of this channel. And the reason is because this is a downtrend. And if you get in on the bottom, it's going up. So you're kind of fighting a channel. And, it's great when you just have a straight line like that, but sometimes it doesn't work out like that. Sometimes it's all over the place. And so, again, name of the game is high probability trades. So just taking these trades on the top here, going with the trend, and you've got a perfect trend line. If you wait and are patient and, wait for it to come to you. So this is what I'm expecting on the next one. It can be a great move. So let's see here. This was, okay, this is, I guess that's kind of cool. Just switched over. This is USD CAD. And again, this is the higher time frame, and you can see how it just missed right here, right? And it came up. And you know what? That's not a trade I'm going to get in. It may work out. That thing may go to the sky, right? But everything I have to base this trade on is on this trend line. So if I'm not going to get a perfect touch on that trend line, I'm not going near it. So that was the whole purpose of that. Let's see what else I've got. So this is, I'm trying to get it over. There you go. This is Euro odd. I was just kind of playing around with this one. So again, the whole point about patterns being out there, what I was able to do once you get good at playing around on TradingView is you can literally copy candlestick patterns. So I noticed that this pattern looked like it was actually from a pattern over here. And I'm just trying to think exactly, now that I'm on the spot, I'm not going to see it, but it was one of these. So I went ahead and I copied the pattern and I put it over top, and you can see how price is kind of going along this pattern. So I'm going to keep checking this out to see how accurate this is. But if I get a hit on, 2 or 3 of these X's, I'm just going to be absolutely blown away. So that's something I'm looking at right now. And so this is kind of further what I was kind of talking about as far as what I look for, what I don't look for right here. So again, you can see how price a lot of times will run in channels. And when you look at this, what you will see is that, you got 2 great touches right here along this trend line, okay? And you're getting some good touches along the bottom here. Price is literally coming down here again. But as I said, high probability trades. And, the frustrating thing that it can be is literally you might get this out of it. It could literally go from here straight up. And you're like, well, why am I not taking that? Well, there's going to be people out there that take those trades, But again, if it's the difference between this trade and that trade, which one do you want? Now, where patience comes in is these are 4-hour candles. So, this can be, so you could be here and it could be 2-3 days, maybe even a week before you see price come over to this side. And again, that's just part of trading, you know, but it's just take a look, see what's going on. And to be honest, once you start doing these things, you can actually set alerts as well to help. So just more of my setups here. This is the Great British Pound JPY, and here now this is another one where you can see how price is, you know, kind of trending sideways and then just drops off, you know, kind of trends sideways and drops. And, you know, here we currently have a drop taking place. You know, so that also looks like that could be a good trade to get into. Problem is, I have not gotten, I'm still in the process of kind of watching to see how these go. You know, a lot of these drops, my indicators just don't line up. And if everything's not lining up, then again, you don't have a high probability trade. So I think these are great. And I think if I can get to the point where I get a handle on them, then I'll take them. But as far as, you know, so I can identify that the break is taking place, but it just doesn't always happen that way. But this looks, again, price like this is great because this is, you can see how these structures are practically identical, you know. So I'm gonna tell you, you know, I noticed this break actually right when it took place, and you know, this is literally probably a 400 or 500 pip move, and you know, you don't need that many pips to make a lot of money, but at the end of the day, it's about being picky, it's about being choosy, and it's about taking high probability trades. So where are my high probability trades at? Right here, 1, 2, 3, and that's going to be 4. So if I can see price just touch that trend line right there, wick, and is coming off, you know, I'm in. That's it. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. And let me see. Okay. So yeah, I mean that's really it. That's what I'm looking for. Hopefully you're able to get something out of that. Again, there's a lot of different ways you can trade, but at the end of the day, this is what I enjoy doing. I enjoy looking at the setups and taking you know, winning trades, and it's really, if you wait for it, it's not that hard to do. You just gotta learn the fundamentals and have the patience. So that's it. Hopefully you got something from that. If you do have any interest in learning more about this, do me a favor, shoot me a message, and would love to work with you. Have a